APA 7th Referencing and Paraphrasing. Tips and tricks to succeeding. My name is Steph Bennett. I'm a learning development tutor in the Hub. Today's aims: to develop knowledge of in-text citations, reference lists and paraphrasing in preparation for an upcoming submission. We will look at in-text citations, both bracketed and integrated, referencing, the Academic Integrity Guide, and paraphrasing, a step-by-step guide. Integrity, misconduct, plagiarism. Academic integrity is the system of values we ascribe to in the academic community. Academic misconduct is any action that goes against our values or academic integrity. And plagiarism is passing off your own or another's work as original. Yes, you can self-plagiarise, so it's always important before you submit to just double check you've not used similar phrasing to the assignments you've submitted before. APA 7th Referencing. Referencing is an umbrella term and there are two components: in-text citations and references. It helps to guard against plagiarism by giving authors credit where credit is due. It helps to distinguish between your academic voice and the contributions of literature. It develops and supports your arguments. It shows your assessor you've done some research, and it also shows your assessor where to locate the sources you've used. In-text citations. Typically, there are three parts in an in-text citation: the surname of the author, or a corporate author name if you've used something like the Chartered Management Institute or the BBC, the year the source was published, and a page number. In-text citations appear in the text itself, in your assignment. And there are two types: bracketed and integrated. Let's look at citations for direct quotes that come from a single page. So you're reading a book or you're reading a journal and you think, that might be a nice quote to put into my assignment to bolster what I'm trying to say. Here is an example of a bracketed citation. Direct quote is placed in single quote marks. We have to trust the record company's own calculations. The bracketed citation sits at the end. Brackets, Osborne, comma, 2021, comma, P full stop, space, 62, close brackets. Osborne is the author. The year the source was published is 2021, and the page number the quote has been taken from is 62. Here is an integrated citation. You can see we begin with the author, followed by the year in brackets, then the direct quote in single quote marks, and at the very end we have the page number that sandwiches everything in. Let's look at citations for direct quotes that run over 2 pages. Sometimes we get to the bottom of a page and we think that might be a nice quote to use, except it runs on to the top of the following page. Not a problem. A bracketed citation might look like this. Here we have the direct quote placed in single quote marks, and at the very end we have brackets, Osborne, comma, 2021, comma, PP full stop, space, 64 hyphen 65, close brackets. We can see this quote has been taken from pages 64 and 65. Let's look at the integrated citation. Here we have the author followed by the year in brackets. Then the direct quote placed in single quote marks. And sandwiching everything in at the end we have brackets, PP full stop, space, 64 hyphen 65, close brackets. There are some exceptions to these typical rules. For example, websites don't have page numbers. So you might find that a bracketed citation looks like this. Here we have the direct quote placed in single quote marks, and at the end we have brackets, Chartered Management Institute, square brackets CMI, comma, 2020, close brackets. No page number has been provided. This example also shows you how to introduce abbreviations. Write the name in full and abbreviate at the side. Square brackets have been used in this instance to distinguish the abbreviation from the rounded brackets that it sits within. However, an integrated citation might look slightly different. We have the full author name followed by the abbreviation in rounded brackets this time, followed by the date in brackets and the direct quote. But there is no page number to sandwich everything in. Sometimes we think we're using a website, but we're actually using an online journal. Let's take a look. This is an online journal, and it's hosted almost like a website. However, if we click on PDF, we can actually see the page numbers on the PDF. Another exception to the rule, where we also do not use page numbers. When we paraphrase an idea from across more than one page of text, for example, when we summarise a chapter or a theme that's spoken about across multiple pages. A bracketed citation might look like this. Here we've got a paraphrase showing an overview of an entire chapter. And then in the brackets at the end, we have the author, comma, and the year the source was published. We could also integrate it by beginning with the author, following with the year in brackets, and then the overview of the chapter. That will mean if we paraphrase from a single page of text, we must add a single page number. But there'll be more on this in just a moment. Quick quiz then. What are the three parts of an in-text citation? Did you get it right? Author, year, page number. What are the two types of in-text citation? Did you get it right? Bracketed and integrated. What's included in an in-text citation if you use a website? Did you get it right? It's the author name and the year the source was published. What happens when you use a direct quote that runs over 2 pages? Did you get it right? We use PP full stop, a space, and then page hyphen page. If you paraphrase from a single page of text, do you include a page number or not? Did you get it right? Yes. We just don't include multiple page numbers if we paraphrase from across multiple pages of text. Extra bits to know. If you use 2 authors, your bracketed citation will be Barnett ampersand ZB, comma, 2020, comma, P full stop, space, 4, close brackets. The authors are separated by an ampersand inside a bracket. This changes when we move to an integrated citation. The ampersand becomes and, Barnett and ZB, brackets 2020 suggest that, and then we sandwich everything in with the page number at the end. But as soon as you hit 3 authors, we change to et al. Full stop. So in a bracket, this would look like brackets Barnett et al. Full stop, then a comma to separate the author from the year, 2020, comma, P full stop, space, 4, close brackets. Outside of a bracket in an integrated citation, we don't add a comma after al. We just have Barnett et al. Full stop. The year in brackets suggests that, and then we sandwich everything in with the page number at the end. References. Typically, there are 5 parts in a reference. the author, the year the source was published, the title of the thing that you're reading, the publisher, and the link. Obviously, hard copies are exceptions to this rule, but obviously we are using fewer hard copies because a lot of our sources are now available online. References appear at the end of our text in a reference list in alphabetical order by author. I'll show you an example of this in just a moment. There are many types of reference styles for each source type you use, so the reference for a hard copy book will look different to the reference for an online journal, which will look different to a reference for a map or a reference for an image. And that's why we have the Academic Integrity Guide. So you can navigate which type of source you're using and therefore the type of reference you need to use. Let's have a look at it very quickly. Here is the Academic Integrity Guide. Let's have a look at ebooks. Ebooks are otherwise known as online books. Let's scroll down. This is the part we need, referencing ebooks. You can watch the teal video if you'd like to, or you can just look at the examples at the bottom. Or you can scroll right the way to the bottom and download a copy of all the information featured inside the video. And you can even print a copy and make yourself a little referencing book. So let's look at some examples. If you have used the Chartered Management Institute website page on leadership styles, for example, it will look like this. Chartered Management Institute, we always write the full name, followed by a full stop. The year in brackets, followed by a full stop. The title of the piece we've read online, and that is in sentence case, which means only a capital letter on the first word after a colon or any proper nouns. And you can also see it's in italics, followed by a full stop. In this case, we will omit the publisher because the publisher is the same as the author, and we just add in the link. If we're using an online book or an ebook, we've just had a look at this on the Academic Integrity Guide. We've got the authors here, surnames, followed by commas, initials followed by full stops. We also use an ampersand to separate two authors. The year in brackets followed by a full stop. The title here in sentence case and italics, you can see only capital letters on the and how. And interestingly, this one is the 6th edition. So we place that in brackets, non-italic type, 6th ed full stop, and close the bracket following it with a full stop. Wiley is the publisher, and the link you can see here is to our very own WorldCat online library. Let's look at an online journal. There are a few more components to this. We have the authors at the start, always surname, comma, initial, full stop. The final author is always separated by an ampersand, followed by the year in brackets and a full stop. Then the article title is in non-italic type and sentence case, followed by a full stop. The journal title is in title case, as in capital letters on every word, and italics. The volume number, which in this case is 10, is also in italics. And that is swiftly followed by the issue number in brackets at the side in non-italic type. A comma is added, followed by the page range of the article. So where does the article start and where does it finish? Followed by a full stop. And nearly all journal articles will have a DOI link. You can see DOI links begin HTTPS //doi.org/10 and then a number that follows it. So rather than using the URL link at the top, have a look on the page for the DOI link instead. And sometimes we might not be able to tell what source we've got, so we can Frankenreference it. For example, let's have a look at this link here. This is Michael E. Porter's How Competitive Forces Shape Strategy, better known as Porter's 5 Forces. You can see it's come from Harvard Business Review, and the year is March-April 1979. So we're going to take that information and cobble together some kind of reference. And here's what it might look like. Porter, M full stop, E full stop, brackets 1979, close brackets full stop. The title in sentence case and italics, How Competitive Forces Shape Strategy, full stop. The publisher, Harvard Business Review, full stop. And the link. And here is an example of a full reference list. You can see we have gone in alphabetical order from Buckley right the way to Wise. And there are all types of different sources in this reference list. We have Google Books, we have government publications, we've got journals, we've got hard copy books, we've got hard copy books with specific editions. We've even got a thesis in here. This is available to view on the Academic Integrity Guide. Let's do a quick quiz then. Using the example we looked at for an online journal, can you now reference this article? Let's have a look. So in this little snapshot here is all the information that you will need. Can you firstly spot the author? Yes, that's right, Clunan, M full stop. What about the date? Yep, brackets 2016, close brackets full stop. Now let's look at the title of the article. Negotiating Needle Time, the Musicians' Union, the BBC and the record companies, circa 1920 to 1990. That would be written in sentence case and non-italic type followed by a full stop. What's the title of the journal? Well, it's right the way at the top left and it's called Social History. That would be in title case and italics, followed by a comma and the volume also in italics, which you can see here is 41. The issue will follow. Yes, that's right, it's 4, it's going to sit in brackets right next to the 41. And then we need to go with the page range. You can also see this on the page as well. Underneath Clunan, you can see 353-374. That would be followed by a full stop. And then rather than use the URL at the top, we're going to use the DOI. It's right underneath where it says published online. How about this ebook? We might not get all of the information we need on this opening page. So let's head to Read Online. So for a book, we firstly need to note the authors. Yes, that's right, we've got Hull, G, full stop, P, full stop, Hutchinson, T, full stop, ampersand, Strasser, R, full stop. Then we need to find the year. So we can see it says 3rd edition. That's going to be useful in just a moment. Okay, 3rd edition published 2011. So we have brackets 2011 full stop. Then we need the title in italics and sentence case. Yes, it is The Music Business and Recording Industry. We've also got 3rd edition. Can you remember what that looks like? non-italic type, brackets, third, ed, full stop, close brackets, full stop. Then we need the publisher. Let's delve back into the book again. You can see here the word Rutledge mentioned a few times over. That is the publisher. You can also see it at the bottom there. So the publisher is Rutledge, followed by a full stop, and then we just need the link, which is here. We can also use the DOI link offered here. And here they are written in full. Clunan, M full stop, brackets 2016, close brackets full stop. The title in sentence case and non-italic type, Negotiating Needle Time. The Musicians' Union, the BBC and the record companies circa 1920-1990, full stop. The journal in title case and italics, Social History, 41 is the volume in italics, followed by the issue in non-italic type and brackets, which we've got brackets 4, followed by a comma, page range 353-374, full stop, and then our DOI link. And here we've got Hull, G, full stop, P, full stop, Hutchinson, T, full stop, ampersand, Strasser, R, full stop, brackets 2011, close brackets, full stop. The title here in sentence case and italics is The Music Business and Recording Industry, Delivering Music in the 21st Century. Then we've got the third edition, which is in brackets and non-italic type, brackets third ed, full stop, close brackets, full stop. Rutledge is the publisher, followed by the link to the book online. Paraphrasing. There is no quick fix to paraphrasing. It's just something that you've got to work at, and you'll get better with time. Some tips: change words. Students become learners. Change word forms. If you use a word like success, change it to successful. And then what you'll start to see is that the sentence changes around this. The 5 steps recommended by Scribbr: read the original, cover it up, write your own version from what you remember, uncover the original, compare and contrast. Did you capture what the original was trying to say? Is it too similar? If it is, begin the process again. Tips: Scribbr's do's and don'ts of paraphrasing can be found here. Firstly, it offers the 5 steps that we've just gone through. Then more importantly, it offers an original version of a quote, followed by a really bad paraphrase and the reasons why it's not so good, followed by a good example of a paraphrase and the reasons why it's so good. And then we have different types of sources: original text, paraphrase, original text, paraphrase, original text and paraphrase. It's a really great page to use to get to grips with this academic practice. If you're changing words on Microsoft Word, right-click Synonyms and then scroll to the bottom and click Thesaurus, because it will open up on the right-hand side with way more offerings. And keep practicing. There's this idea of trait theory that we're born with these innate abilities to do things, but it's very flawed, because we're definitely not born with the ability to paraphrase. It definitely is a learned skill that we get better at the more that we expose ourselves to it. Citing, paraphrasing, so we've touched on this already. Here are 2 examples of paraphrasing from a single page of text. We've got the bracketed version at the top with the author, year, page number. We've got the integrated underneath with the author, year, the paraphrase in the middle and the page number. And then we've got an example of citing, paraphrasing across multiple pages of text. These are the examples we've just looked at. Bracketed followed by the integrated. Let's have a go at this. Can you paraphrase this? What I recommend that you do now is that you pause the video, because everybody's paraphrase will be different. How did you do? This is my offering. Approaches to leadership and management ensure operations within an organisation are supervised, thus driving progress towards desired results. I've cited the author there. Typically, these roles foster organisational structure and interpersonal connections with employees. I've cited the author again. Is this perfect? No, absolutely not, because paraphrasing is a work in progress. So don't worry if you feel like you didn't do too well at this task. You will get better. Moving forward, please use the Academic Integrity Guide for all APA 7th in-text citations and references. When you open the page, you are immediately met with a guide to using the Academic Integrity Guide. So watch that. I also recommend that if you need any help with academic writing or criticality or anything along those lines, that you visit our Learning Development Blackboard. There are tons of step-by-step guides and videos on there to support you.